Hello everyone and welcome back to another deck idea brought to you by Double Sleeved. As we move through the OP03 leaders, today we're focusing on the brand new yellow-black Charlotte Linlin leader. It's the brand new color of OP03 combined with the new color of OP02. And kicking things off, we've got a really powerful leader with a unique effect of the ability to regain life. So it's a Don ×2 when attacking. You rest 2 Don and you trash a card from hand. If you have 1 or less cards in your life area, place up to 1 card from the top of your deck at the top of your life. So if we're on 0 life, we get to regain back up to 1, and if we're on 1 life, we get to regain back up to 2, which can be really powerful if our opponent doesn't have enough attackers to push for game from there. And we're at that standard 5k as always, outside of a couple of unique decks. But moving into the deck, we start off with Strucin. It's a 1-drop, 1000 power, 2k counter, which is generally what we're using this card for. We do have an on-play effect to trash a trigger from hand and KO a character with a cost of 1, which can come up a little bit more with that combination of yellow and black. So the ability to reduce the cost of cards and then KO them with Strucin. Then we've got Charlotte Brûlée, a really powerful trigger card. We've got the trigger of playing this card, and it has blocker, so hitting this off life can be really beneficial. We've got you can play it for 3 as well. It's just got 1000 power, and it does have counter as well, which is really good. And then we've got the black 2k counter of Monkey D. Garp. It's a 2-drop, 3000 power, and a Don 2 effect. When attacking, KO up to 1 of your opponent's characters with a cost of 0. Doesn't come up as much as some of the monocolor black decks that are built around reducing cost, but it is possible to come up at times within this deck. Next we've got Sanji, another 2k counter. It's a 2-cost, 3000 power, 2k counter, and we've got a really powerful Don 2 effect on this card. When attacking, you may add the top or bottom card of your life to your hand, and then add up to 1 card from the top of your deck to your life. So it's a +1 to hand, and since we're replacing that life, we just add a card to hand, and we can, potentially, hopefully get a trigger off our life with the card that we replace, and hopefully we're not taking the card from life that we want to be in life, like a blocker or something like that. Next we've got Fukuro. It's a 3-cost, 3000 power blocker. We've got the 1k counter, and this card comes with a really powerful effect of not being able to be KO'd by effects. So it's going to be difficult to remove this card, and we're pretty much guaranteeing that we're going to be able to trigger this blocker whenever we like. So really powerful, and we've seen just how good this effect can be with similar cards like the Borsalino. Next we've got Charlotte Perospero. It's just a 3-cost 5k. We've got a really good on KO effect of being able to look at the top 3 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to 1 Big Mom Pirates type card, add it to hand, and then place the rest at the bottom of the deck. We do have a fair bit of Big Mom Pirates, so it's possible to hit, but it's also very possible to whiff on this effect. But it does put our opponent in a bit of a weird spot where they don't really want to KO this card, since we may add 1 to hand. But we do have a trigger. You may discard 1 card from hand and then play it if you do hit this off life. Next, we've got a black staple of Borsalino. It's a 4-cost 5k. We've got the 1k counter. On our opponent's turn, this card gains 1000 power, and it can't be KO'd by effects. And we have the blocker, so it becomes a 6k blocker on defense. Then we've got Charlotte Cracker. It's a 4-cost 5000 power character card with a 1k counter. We've got a Don 1 effect. While you have less life than your opponent, this character gains double attack and plus 1000 power. Really powerful, being a multicolor leader that we start the game with 4 life. So this is we're very quickly able to utilize this effect. And worth noting as well that this is on both players' turn, as long as we have that Don underneath. So this is a 6k on defense as well, if we need it to be. And then we've got the trigger. You discard a card from hand and play this card as well. So some great ways to get more characters onto the field and deal pressure. Another 4-cost 5k, we've got Charlotte Smoothie. Again, another 1k counter. When attacking, you may add 1 card from the top or bottom of your life to your hand, and this character gains plus 2000 power for the battle. Since we do have the ability to replace that life with our leader, you can find a little bit more use for this card than in some other decks, since we can put ourselves from 2 life down to 1, get the plus 2000 power, and then put ourselves back up to 2 life with our leader effect, if we don't have anything else more useful to play. And then we've got the trigger to play this card by discarding 1. Next we've got Virgo. It's a 5 cost 5k power. It is a 2k counter, but the cost versus power stat line doesn't really seem too appealing, but we've got a very powerful Don 1 effect on this card, which is this character cannot be KO'd by battle. So unlike some of the blockers that we have that can't be KO'd by effects, this card can't be KO'd by battle, which means it's going to be very difficult for our opponents to remove it if they don't have a lot of KO effects. And this card will continue to just be able to be a really powerful 6k attacker. And then we've got the 6 cost Sakazuki, 7000 power on this card. On play, you may trash 1 card from your hand, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 5 or less. So some really good removal on this card to be able to pop some blockers and things like that. And just being a 7k is really powerful as well. Next we've got Isho. I believe that's how it's pronounced. Correct me if I'm wrong, but a card that I hate. I hate playing against this card. It's one that you need to be mindful of going against black in OP03. It's an 8 cost 9000 power character card. A Don 1, your turn. All of your opponent's characters get -3 to their cost, so really powerful with the combination and things like Sakazuki if you get this card on the field. But on play, this is why I hate this card. If your opponent has 6 or more cards in their hand, trash 2 cards from your opponent's hand. With the limited amount of counter in this game and limited amount of draw as well, just being able to rip 2 cards out of our opponent's hand is so powerful. And our opponent doesn't even get to choose, we just choose at random as well. This is going to be a really annoying card to play against, one that you need to be mindful of. And you know, sitting at 4 or 5 cards in hand against a deck this powerful can be really awkward. And then we've got another ability to regain life. It's the 10 cost Charlotte Linlin. It's got 12,000 power, so it's an absolute powerhouse. And on play, if your leader has a Big Mom Pirates type, place up to 1 card from the top of your life. Top of your life from your deck, top or bottom, so we get to choose, and then trash up to 1 card from the top of your opponent's life. Really powerful, again, if we're able to establish some of our really powerful and heavy kind of battle power cards on the field, and then we can just remove life from our opponents while regaining our own as well. These cards can deal a lot of pressure onto our opponent, and this can delay the game even more if our opponent doesn't have any characters on the field to deal damage. We can just simply regain a life, and that's just another damage that our opponent needs to push through. Moving into some of the event cards, we have Ikoku Sovereignty. It's a 2 cost event card with a counter. Up to 1 of your leader or characters gain plus 5000 power for the battle. With everyone kind of attacking, 2k above or 4k above the character's power, this card can be really good at getting out of some of those attacks. Just for 2 Don, being able to get out of a 9k attack on our leader is really powerful. And then we've got the trigger. You may discard 2 cards from hand, add up to 1 card from the top of your deck to your life. Again, this can come up in some situations where our opponent's pushing for game if we've got the board established already, but our opponent feels like they can close us out, and this card does come up. It's just another attack that they need to push through to try and win the game. And then we've got Impact Wave, a really powerful black event card. Again, another 2 cost counter. Your leader or up to 1 of your characters gains plus 4000 during this battle, and then KO up to 1 of your opponent's active characters with a cost of 3 or less. So really powerful effect there. And then a trigger of KO up to 1 of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less. Again, really powerful and some good removal within this deck. We've got some good low cost cards and some really strong high cost cards. So it's definitely going to be an interesting deck, especially being able to prolong the game with our ability to regain life. It does get a little bit awkward if you aren't able to establish some of these high cost cards later on into the game before our life gets down really low, since we can't do our leader effect and play either of these cards in the same turn. But we can play pretty much everything else within this deck and still have the ability to activate our leader, which is really good. So if we're not going to find use for those 10 cost or 8 cost character cards, we can just pitch them for our leader effect to continue to gain life as well. But that is the deck. Let me know what you think. If you think you're going to be picking up some of the yellow cards to play this deck, let me know what you think of Isho. Do you think this card is ridiculous as well, or is it just me? Leave it in the comments, and be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the videos. It really does go a long way. But hopefully we'll see you at the next deck idea.